Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn. Dr. John Poothullil is our guest. He has a new book, Eat, Chew, Live. It reminds me, as I said earlier, about the movie and a book, Eat, Pray, Love. There's a correlation there, isn't there, between the two, Doctor?
Well, in what respect are you suggesting that?
I'm suggesting that there's three stages that we do. We have to eat, we pray, and then we fall in love. In your case, we eat, we chew slowly, and then we live happy, healthy lives.
Especially to prevent type 2 diabetes. The question is, how much are you consuming in relation to what you are going to be spending before the next meal? Anything in excess will have to be stored, and our long-term storage is as fat, regardless of how you consume, whether you consume it as a carbohydrate or fat or protein, it does not matter. The body will store it only as fat. For all practical purposes, 120 grams of sugar, that's all we can keep in our liver as backup carbohydrate.
But does the body break that fat, that extra fat down, or does it say, we seem to be in a time where we need to store more fat because there's not a lot of food coming in, and it doesn't break that fat down, which we know it can break down into glucose so it could be used by the body.
The fat is never broken down into glucose. I'm sorry to correct you, but it's only
please.
Fatty acid.
Okay.
Which the muscles can use interchangeably with glucose to produce energy. In fact, when you don't eat whole day long, when you are starving or due to any illness, or when you are running a marathon, I suggest 80% of your energy comes not from glucose, but from fatty acid that is flowing in the through the bloodstream. So we are using fatty acid every day, every hour, to supplement energy production from glucose. So fatty acids, fat is created from fatty acids in the liver. The fat is stored in the fat cells, and that fat is broken down and released as fatty acids. That's a continuous process. It is a myth to say we have genes, that thrifty genes, that because of that we are storing fat and not utilizing it. That is, to me, it makes no sense.
And that's the problem. We don't want to store that extra fat, is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, if we have capacity to store outside the blood, I don't care how much you weigh. If you weigh 300, 400 pounds, you can still have normal blood sugar as long as that fat is outside the blood.
The blood, I see.
If you inherit, as some of the Asian people or thin people do, you inherit only 5-pound storage capacity. That 6 pound of fat will stay in the blood as fatty acid. Muscles switch to fatty acid when it is available, and the glucose stays in the blood, and you are a diabetic.
Let's talk about the word chew. I've talked to many people over the years, and some of them have said you need to chew 10 times or 20 times before you swallow. Is there a number of times that somebody should chew whatever they're eating?
All you have to do is to look at a toddler, anywhere from 2 to 6. How do they eat? And what makes them control? Because they eat only when they are hungry. They eat only what they want, and they stop eating when they want, and yet they grow up normally. How do they control the intake of foods to grow up normally? They are in charge. They don't know anything about how many times to chew,
right,
or how many calories is in a gram of fat or carbohydrate. So it is all instinctive. It is in the brain. The reason to chew it is it is a prelude to enjoyment. You are releasing the nutrients that your taste buds and smell receptors can accept, and that produces the flavor of the food that you eat. When you have registered enough, the intensity of flavor of that food will go down.
When somebody somebody like me, I'm a foodie. Daryl's a foodie as well. We like to eat good food, tasty food. My wife is a foodie. My daughter and son we're all foodies. We eat for the taste. Okay?
Okay, let me ask you one question then.
Sure.
If you take a bite of food, what percentage of that food do you actually taste?
I don't know the answer to that.
If I tell you less than 10%, would you believe it?
Oh, my. But if I chewed it more or a little slower...
Let me give you this example.
Sure.
Suppose you put one potato chip on your tongue, you can enjoy it.
Right.
If you put 10, one on top of the other, which one do you enjoy?
That's a very good question. None.
You enjoy the one at the bottom.
Right. The first one in.
First one in, because they are in contact with the taste buds.
Well, that of course says, can you eat just one? And in regards to potato chips, you can't eat just one?
Oh, absolutely not.
That is because of the salt content.
Yes, people like that. We are out of time, Doctor. I am so sorry. We'll have to do this again. Hold on for me. Our guest has been Dr. John Poothullil. He is the author of Eat, Chew, Live. If you've got diabetes or want to prevent it, this is a book to take a look at. It makes a lot of sense. And just eat one potato chip. That's all you have to do. All right, coming up next, Dr. Greg Salea. Don't go away, more coming up. Join us at latenighthealth.com.